UK-based author and climate change researcher Brianna works to further equity in the negotiations for the world's poorest countries who are most vulnerable to the impact of climate change. She's joining us today to talk about her new book, We Don't Have Time for This. Welcome, Brianna.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a real delight to be here.
Yes, thank you. So tell us about your book.
Yeah, We Don't Have Time for This. My new book is a young adult romance. We meet Issa and Darius, 16-year-olds who really don't like each other at the beginning and end up liking each other quite a lot at the end. They are vying for presidency of their high school's environmental justice club, and we get to watch their sparks fly.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah. So what's the significance of the title of this book?
We Don't Have Time for This speaks to the climate and environmental crises we're all living in. We have got to stop burning fossil fuels, and it will take all of us to change our current polluting systems to systems that derive energy from renewable resources that are efficient and community owned. And We Don't Have Time for This helps bring that change to life for people in Issa and Darius's story. We get to see them bring all their creativity, energy, and humor and love to the table. And it really depicts the roles we can all play in creating change for the better and making a world that's livable for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious, what made you want to reach out to this particular audience?
I am obsessed with the young adult genre. It's such an impactful age group. I made a lot of discoveries about myself and what I wanted to do when I was a teenager. And I think it also has messages for everyone because we're all questioning kind of our world and the place we have in it throughout our lives. And so bringing two characters who are 16, kind of at the cusp of adulthood, who are really thinking deeply about the world and their place in it was just such a joy. And I hope that so many people can connect with that.
Yeah. Brianna, there's so many social issues right now that young people could choose to invest in. Mm-hmm. Have you found that young people relate to climate change?
I really find that young people growing up now are living in a world where the climate crisis is just unignorable. Mm-hmm. Here in the Pacific Northwest, where I'm from, wildfire season, which goes on most of the year now, really does have an apocalyptic feel. You really can't ignore when the world is on fire, and young people in particular are really looking for how they can change that, how we can have a future together. And so I think this genre and that working with young people and writing about young people, it was just such a perfect match for climate crisis and environmental justice themes.
Yeah, we've got a copy of the book right here. Thank you for sending this to us. I can't wait to dive in. What are you hoping that readers, what's the big takeaway? What's the one thing you hope that readers take away when they read this one?
Well, first and foremost, We Don't Have Time for This is a love story. I really do hope it keeps people turning pages to see if Issa and Darius are actually going to get together. It makes a great summer read. And then second, I hope people are inspired by what they see in We Don't Have Time for This. The overall message is that we all have a role to play in changing our energy systems and addressing the climate crisis. And we're all impacted by it differently, so we bring different things to the table. And that's the lesson Issa and Darius have to learn as well as they struggle to work together. At first, not really liking each other at all, and then realizing that we need the strength of everyone's different ways of thinking and different abilities.
Great. That's an uplifting, hopeful message. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I can't wait to dive in. I mean, I think
know. I feel like we're going to fight over it.
Little book club here. Yes.
Yeah.